We shall.
We shall.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
It's
what
been a minute for us.
A minute. Well, it's been a short minute. It's not even been a whole week.
No, since we saw each other, but since we recorded.
Since we recorded, that is true.
That is what I mean.
Because we're champions at content stacking. We're doing it right.
But no one needs to know that. Oops. Cat's out of the bag.
Cat's out of the bag. It's fine. Everyone knows. If you're not content stacking at this point, what are you even doing on social media?
Yeah, truly. Like, you're not using it wisely. That's for sure.
I think I have like 22 drafts in my TikTok.
Amazing.
Backlog, just waiting to go.
I need to be you.
Yeah. I mean, that's the mistake that I think people make with content. I make it too. I made it for years. And it's one of the reasons why I stopped doing a lot of the things that I was doing is because I felt like half the time I was trying to play catch up with content.
Right.
And trying to just be like, oh, well, I should record this, or like, oh, I should put this up. And then what you end up defaulting to is just trying to sell the thing or get people to pay attention to the thing the whole time. And then they glaze over and they don't pay attention anymore.
And they're like, cool, where's the next thing?
Great, next. I got to.
Yeah.
Great. But
no,
like
I get that.
When you stack, you have a little bit more like brain space to just be like, cool, let's do this. And like really in a real working professional situation where like it's a company and it's whatever, like that shit's planned months in advance, months and months and months in advance.
Right.
Yeah. And that's not me, but I would like it to be at some point.
I am like that in most things in my life. But when it comes to like, I guess it was just like when it came to content, sometimes I feel like I was always like, I read a statistic today, actually, this is kind of a side tangent, that 60% of adults in America are paycheck to paycheck, if not more.
Yeah.
Right? And so there's that same mentality that bleeds into content.
Yeah.
It's going to sound wild. But it's like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like you're making it just to have it out. And then you're like, oh, I don't have anything else.
To tie into that, too, I saw, I don't remember if it was a meme or a tweet or something, where someone was like, I finally figured out why Queer Eye for a Straight Guy has always rubbed me the wrong way. And they went into this whole diatribe about how like these people that they're helping and changing their lives, like, yes, they're giving them like new clothes or they're fixing up their house or whatever. What it really comes down to is money.
Right.
They're giving that person the feeling of what it feels like to have money and not have to worry about it for a minute. And that's why it's so touching, because these people are probably part of the 60% of America that lives paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
And they don't think to remodel their house, buy themselves clothes, take care of themselves.
Or they can't.
Because they can't afford it.
Right.
It's not like, oh, I'll pay a little less on my credit card this month so I can go treat myself. Like, that's just not the mentality.
Right.
And if they can even pay their credit card in the first place, like, you know, that's a reality too. And so like the Queer Eye thing is just giving them a glimpse of what it might feel like to not be in their position.
Right.
And like, it's not that I think it's a negative thing.
Right.
It's just giving someone something and then almost taking it away from them. Not that they take the things back, you know, but like, oh my God, we redid your house. Can we have your living room back?
After the credits, like every single episode after the credits, they're like, bye.
Bye. Give me your throw pillows.
Jonathan Van Ness is like, give me back.
Right. Give me back your dress.
Yeah.
I'm going to wear it now.
I'm going to wear it.
Because I get it for free from the network. Thank you so much.
Truly, bye.
But that's not, I don't think that's what happens.
Absolutely not.
I don't know what they're signing or what the deal is. But
and also what they do is a kind thing. Like, we need more kindness in the world. That's one
totally.
Of the shows that's
I
like
100% agree with that.
But
it is it's like dipping someone into like, you know, gold for a hot second and then being like, okay, go back to your life now.
Yeah. Bye. Well, they had, it was like a wake up call, because there was a post recently, an RIP to the first guy, whoever was on the show, the first person they queer-eyed. He died because of some health thing. And I'm like, that sucks, because no matter, everybody can get sick and everybody could die. But my point is that the last thing I saw from him was him like living his life in like a really abundant way because of what they left for him, with him. But really, it's back to reality.
Totally. And
to life.
And back to reality. And I'm not, by no means am I saying that it's a bad thing. It's just kind of like that I see what's happening here in a different way, and I don't think I'm ever going to be able to unsee it, because I do love that show.
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, I used to watch it. I haven't seen the latest season, I don't believe. I think I stopped watching it a couple seasons ago.
Well, I mean, I loved the OGs.
Oh, me too.
I had the biggest crush on Tom. Just the biggest crush on Tom. And I actually met him and the wine guy at one point at some tea dance at the pier. It was the garden party that they used to do. I don't know if they still do it, but all like the restaurants in Chelsea and surrounding areas would get together and do this big party, and there'd be entertainment and whatever. and they were there, and I got to meet them and like hang out with them for 2 minutes, and I just was like so crushed by Tom. I just love him.
You're like, I wish you
Just
would
love
crush
him.
me.
Where is he now?
Yeah.
Also, Kyan Douglas. Oh my god, I follow him on Instagram. What a hottie.
I just have loved everyone that's been involved in that show. So like,
yeah, it's fun to watch.
It's a great show. It's a really great show. Well, I think the problem is we have like such a dichotomy of like it's another tangent, but dichotomy of like content we're ingesting. It's either like really fucking fucked up and dark, or it's like so sugar coated. You're like, this is not real.
Well, I mean, let's talk sugar-coated because I'm here for this part. Like,
Okay.
I'm all for like the dark conspiracy theory side of TikTok and the internet and whatnot.
Oh, I love
it's totally entertaining.
Yeah.
But I'm willing right now in the year of our Gaga 2023.
You're a Madonna.
I am here to who's in the hospital, by the way.
God.
Ooh,
Bacterial.
R.I.P.
No, stop that.
No.
How dare you? That's my queen. I'll die, and I love her.
No,
but
I
yes,
hear
get
ya.
better. I think she's in the ICU still, though.
Yeah, I mean, well, it just happened today, I think. So,
Yeah.
you know, today being, the 28th of June? I don't
Yeah.
know. Whatever. It's probably July by the time you're listening to
yeah,
this.
but
So
it's still Pride for
whatever.
us, which
Totally.
we'll get into later. But
Still
anyway,
Pride, yes. But I am so, like... I was having this conversation about Broadway the other day, and I think it's true for some of the films that are coming out. Like, I am so gagged for this Barbie movie.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot wait.
We have to go see it.
So at work now, I'm doing a 9-to-5 situation at a big finance firm again. back to that life. And I spend half of my day reading like Deadline and Hollywood Reporter and Variety and all that because I have the time to do it.
Sure.
It's like a thing I've always wanted to do, but never felt like I had the time. And now I'm like, well, I have
this
dual connected monitors. Let's put Hollywood Reporter over here, and we'll put my calendar over here. And
I love that getting a job gave you more time.
It literally did. It's so
awesome.
ridiculous.
I love that.
It's so funny. I've started writing another book today, and my pitch deck's mostly done. Like it's wild. And we can talk about that another time.
Yeah.
But I'm so here for the Barbie movie, and I read on Deadline that they have opened up a house in the Hollywood Hills that they have painted Barbie pink, and it is available for Airbnbs now. And it has like a roller skating dance floor and a pool with like an infinity edge or whatever. It just looks, and like the pink slide off the top of it, it just is Barbie Dreamhouse realness. I want to go. It's probably $1 million a month. I haven't checked.
100%.
But I'm here for the bubblegum of it all.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
the kitschy, catchy, funny.
But
like,
there's a brilliance to that. Like
Oh, I
Clueless
agree.
had that brilliance to that. Where
Agreed.
It was like as if, and then she's talking about
Right.
homelessness, and you're like, work, you know, or
Right.
like she's like, you know, it's one thing to like have a toke at a party. It's another thing to be like a burnout all the time, and you're like, wow, she's really like saying.
She's
stuff.
like so woke. She's 90s woke.
She's saying stuff. No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think what I mean when I say the bubblegum, I'm saying I want more of that. I want intelligent bubblegum shit.
Yeah.
I just don't want stuff that's just so fluffy, blah blah blah, that it's like it's not real, right?
Right.
Like when we're talking about reality shows, or we're talking about
Ugh.
I can't even.
I can't.
But for better or worse, like Queer Eye's a reality series, and
Yeah.
so there is like a veil of like it's so bubblegum fresh. Everybody's like so happy, and there
It's
is
just
like
it's the feel good thing, and I'll tie this
Yeah.
into like what I was having the conversation about Broadway with, was like there's a lot of shows on the docket this year that are very bubblegummy, and they have like smart, intelligent writing behind them.
Love that.
Some of them, but some of them are just fluff, and that is okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Once Upon a One More Time, Britney Spears musical.
Oh my god!
Like I guarantee you the book isn't good. I know nothing about it. I haven't seen it. I am speculating here.
Right.
But also, I don't care if the book is good.
Right.
Because everything I'm seeing from them content-wise and review-wise from people that I know who have seen it is just that it is so unbelievably fucking fun.
Yeah.
And like, what's so wrong with wanting to go to the theater, spend however much money, and sit there and just be like gooped entertained
Absolutely.
to death. Like I just entertain me to death is what
Please.
I'm saying. And so what also ties into that is Titanic
I was just about to say Titanic. Yeah.
and Juliet.
Yeah.
And I mean, we have like Carly Rae Jepsen writing a musical of 10 Things I Hate About You. We have Kelly Clarkson that's announced that she's writing a musical. We have Sarah Bareilles who's announced that she's writing another musical. I'm waiting for Taylor Swift to do it because she's an amazing lyricist and could tell the best story ever. And so like I'm all for this.
Yeah.
Like like bubblegum candy thing, and it ties into like this theory that I have about Mamma Mia, which Mamma Mia in and of itself kind of changed the full industry in that it worked, and so then everyone wanted to do like jukebox musicals after that.
Sure.
Like without Mamma Mia, I don't think there's a Jersey Boys.
The musical works. The movie.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think the box office would disagree, but
the box office doesn't have to agree.
Totally,
it's good. It's
the
highest selling, which I found out when I was in London. It's the highest selling DVD in the UK, and I was like, really?
That doesn't surprise me. But like, so Mamma Mia on Broadway
That was
opened in October of 2001. And it was right after 9/11.
Wow.
People were still feeling the feelings. And my own personal theory, I don't really have anything to substantiate this, but if 9/11 never happened, Mamma Mia would not have run as long as it did.
We needed to smile.
We needed to smile. And that's where we're at right now.
100% we're there.
Exactly. And that's where I think the nice tie-in is, where the last 3-4 years have been absolutely abhorrent, and all of us just need to giggle and feel silly.
Yeah.
And so like Barbie and Once Upon a One More Time and Juliet, like give me all of the brain candy. I want it. I don't want to think. I don't want to be like I don't want brain waves to be firing off.
Yeah.
I want to be like, this is fun.
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah. And like I think of that fucking Padam song with Kylie Minogue. Like it's so dumb. But
so good.
But I can't stop singing it.
I'm enjoying the hell out of it. Well, I think there's something about high art and silliness and the crossroads, because like you're saying, if it's stupid but stupid good,
I'm here for it. It's camp.
Good,
it's camp in its highest form.
Well, that's what I mean. I was like, we need more camp in our lives. We need more real stupidity. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like we need something real stupid.
Yeah, and I don't mean like Jackass stupid.
I'm not saying that either. That's the kind of stupid. That's what I'm talking about. Like we don't need like foolishness. We need
I think Clueless is a great example.
That's my point.
Clue is a great example.
Movie,
Agreed.
And it's stupid as I love it.
Yes, and by no means am I saying please remake these movies. Please don't touch them. Don't. But some things of that ilk.
Yeah.
You know.
We went and saw Clueless a couple months ago, and a drag queen opened up. It was awesome for it on the stage, and then we saw the film. And I loved Clueless all the time because I was always like, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like masking itself as this like high school thing, but it's so much more, and and the script is
I know.
So good.
Pivotal.
But Mike had never seen it, and he was like,
what?
Right? Yeah.
And Mike.
I know. No, I'm just kidding. It's fine. But he was like, this is so good. I was like, I know. It's like really, it stands up even better now. I was laughing at things that like even as a kid, I was like, wow.
Yeah, but hearing it as an adult, it like hits different.
It's like there's one thing she says about the Statue of Liberty. She's like, because America, like, the Statue of Liberty should let people in. So let's give Haiti some space already. Like, I was like, I love you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she just,
so good.
Everything she's saying is like so wonderful, and how they try to set their teacher up. It's just good fun, but raised to a good script level. So that's what I mean is like, we need good, stupid content, but like I love a good story, and I want to feel good.
Same.
And I think the Barbie movie, with all the team that's behind it.
And oh my God.
And I think it was, what's his face? Ken. I'm blanking because I've had such a... Ryan Gosling. Yeah. Ryan Gosling was like, it's the best script I've ever read. He literally said that on...
Oh my God, I hope he's not BSing because that's amazing.
He was like, no, it's literally the best script I've ever read.
Oh God, I love it.
And do you know how many good movies he's done?
Yeah, for real.
So
he did The Notebook. He did the fucking Notebook.
Yeah, he did the book. He did Drive, which I love, which is like a very in-depth script. There's barely any dialogue.
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
I'm so excited for Barbie.
Oh yeah.
And like, I mean, this is a good transition for the Pride Parade.
Yes.
Because the promo that they were doing for Barbie in the Pride Parade was amazing.
Incredible.
Everybody was like in these hot pink jumpsuits with these neon yellowy green rollerblades with pink accenting and then disco ball helmets. And they just were rollerblading down the parade. Like just like a swarm of people.
It was wonderful.
I would have broken an ankle, but I would have done that in a second because that would have been so fun.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
We should say, so our Pride was great.
Our Pride was great.
Yeah, I mean...
This was an awakening moment for me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
In what way?
In the way that, like, when I moved here, I wanted to go to Pride, obviously, because I was a little baby gay. I had really only ever seen, like, 3 other gay people in my whole life. And that's not true. And
Well,
but
so
you know what I mean.
You know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, there's more to that
Okay.
story, but
Out, gays.
yeah. But so I went to the parades, and I went for like 2 or 3 years in a row, and I just decided I hated them. And it wasn't because of the parade itself or what it stood for or anything like that.
Obviously not.
It was just like the crowds, and like trying to get anywhere is miserable. And I've always been kind of an old man, and like, you know, I want to be in bed by 10 all the time. Like, I don't care what time I'm getting up the next day. And so I was always like the grumpy old guy, like even when I was 19, to be like, guys, it's late. I'm going to go home. They're like, no, we're going to a party now. I'm like, it's 11 o'clock.
Yeah, and also your body's touching me, and I'm like over this.
Well,
right
no,
now,
I
sweaty.
was very into that when I was 19.
Well,
but
not straight.
All
maybe
of that,
strangers, but when
all
you're
the
in a crowd
strangers.
on a crowded street for a parade,
Right, that's
I really
different.
hate that.
Yeah. So it was miserable, and I stopped going to the parade, I think in 2008.
Wow.
I think 2008. I have not been back. That's like 15 years.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, I have not been back.
What a jump.
Yeah, some of it is because I wasn't here. I was a working actor. I was out of town all the time, whatever. But even if I was here, I didn't want to go because it was a pain in the ass to get down there. It was a pain in the ass to like cross the street or get anywhere. So I just was like, you know what? I'm going to treat this like every other parade. I'm not going because it's a nightmare mess. But going with you, because Sarah Seeds invited me as her guest to march with SAG-AFTRA.
Yes, God.
I had the best time.
It was
like getting situated was kind of
invigorating.
organized. Like getting organized and situated was kind of annoying and a chaos mess. But like once you're there, my face still hurts from smiling because everyone just like every single like group that passes by like screams and cheers and does all things, and like the people that were sitting up in the scaffolding and hanging out of their office windows, like it was just so, it felt very Game of Thrones, like welcoming of the new royalty or something, like screaming out of the windows and stuff. It's super gay, and it was really fun. I had such a great time, and I'm so grateful that you asked me to go because it was just so nice to see.
I just knew, like, because we'd been talking about the parade, and you were like, I hate it. I was like, wait, because
I'd never marched in it.
This is probably my third or fourth time being in the parade. I was on a float before with another, like a brand, like for something like 3 or 4 years ago. And then I was like, oh, this is how you do it. You don't.
You be in it.
I won't be in the parade. Because it's like, especially right now, it's so important for us to be out there just walking and being supportive of everyone and like what's happening right now in certain things, and not to whatever, fuck those people. Whatever's happening law-wise and all, blah, 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 and all the silly bitch shit, the loud people that won't shut up.
Right.
I want to be louder than them, and I want us to all celebrate. I want everybody to have a good time, and I also I wanted to see New York like how it is,
which is
where everybody's out there.
Yes,
everybody was there.
Well, and there's a duality to that too. Like walking down a street in New York that's full of people who are cheering in your direction is like a certain kind of feeling. But I also love the feeling of walking down the middle of a street in New York where there's not a single soul. They're like, both of those things are just as exciting and feel like they have the same amount of possibilities.
Yes.
And like walking in the parade and seeing all these like beautiful queer people, and like it just was great. And like I also saw people I knew, and like some of the press people came up to me that knew me and said hi, and like, you know, and it helped that we were right at the front with the SAG-AFTRA banner, like for the gods.
Yeah.
You know, don't like how I feel about the way I look in those is a totally different story.
Well, I'm like so happy I wore that red wig. That was like a last minute decision. I was like, just
Perfect
pop
decision.
it on, honey. Like if you're gonna, because I didn't get to go to the Mermaid Parade this year.
Yeah.
And I always am at the Mermaid Parade, and I was like, this is my like 11 years in a row, and I was like, I gotta wear my mermaid wig. This is
I've
ridiculous.
never been to the Mermaid Parade.
Oh my God.
I know, we've
you want to
talked
talk
about this.
Wild and queer and crazy.
I need to go.
That's
but
like Brooklyn's version of it. Like it's wild. It's Coney Island's like magical freak show version. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, but it was so lovely to see, and like a lot of the people that I saw on the sidelines, is that what we're calling them, the side of the street, sidewalks, whatever.
Sidewalk, yeah.
Sure. Like
watching.
afterwards I messaged and I was like, oh my God, I saw like blah, blah, blah. And I'm hanging out with 2 of them later.
That's wonderful.
Like, oh God, it just felt so good to do it that way. I was sore and exhausted and hot and sweaty and gross afterwards, and I had 2 other places to be right after. I don't know why I did that to myself, because I love the people I was going to go see is why. But it was just such a great, it was the most I've done on Pride Weekend in 15 years.
You know, I think this year too felt so important without being like, but like it was just so, we needed it. Everybody needed it.
I agree.
I think the world needed it.
And to be honest, I almost didn't go because I was worried that something was going to happen. Like I had seen some whispers online that like there were like tensions were high for New York for Pride, and I was really worried, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to go anyway. Who cares? Like, I'm a refrigerator. I can take care of myself. And I'm so glad I did. It was just the best.
It was the best. And I think it was cool to be walking with like so many people that are like, you know, allies that I know, people that are, you know, like my non-binary boo-boos in SAG-AFTRA, all these like prominent actors and people just like there. Like Michelle Hurd, shout out girl, like Star Trek us, beam me us up, Scotty.
Trek me to death.
Trek me, Michelle. Love you. Yeah, no, I think it was just like so powerful to be around so many artists too. And then like you said, it just felt invigorating. Like people on the street were just happy to see people being happy, and being themselves.
Yes, and I think the intersectionality of that plus Pride plus the timely topicalness of SAG-AFTRA and the impending maybe what's going to happen in the next couple weeks with negotiations. You know, which we'll update in bonus episodes prior to this if need be, because we're going to be way behind the curve at this point. We might need to like bump this one up a little bit.
Formerly known as JK, SAG-AFTRA so strong.
LOL. But it's super topical, and it just felt so good to be a part of. And on the front line of it all. Yeah, no, it was honestly freaking perfect.
I loved it. It was one of my favorite parades too that I've ever like walked in, because it felt like I've been in the Halloween parade too in New York. Like I'm a parade kind of gal.
She's a parade bitch.
She's a parade. But I feel like this one is specifically, it just felt so invigorating, and like I want to be a part of like the organization of it next year, because I wasn't so hands-on this year. I just they just gave me an invite and they said you can bring a guest, and tapped you in.
Yay.
Yeah. And I was like, well, of course. And also like, I mean, let's be real. Like, you get to walk down like you said, empty avenues of New York City. When do you get to do that? Well, people cheer.
Just the best.
And they're cheering for good shit. There's argumentatively nothing negative that anyone is supporting. Yeah. That literally that day makes me feel like, or that weekend made me feel like so positive, because nothing that anyone was saying or doing, I don't even disagree with at all. Like, it was just like perfection.
Well, and I don't even think I saw any like protesters or anything.
No, nobody was there to even protest. No. Everyone's like, I don't.
Yeah.
Because they were home being little
bitches.
Sure.
But like,
it was like, you know what?
It was also so nice to see, like, basically from like Washington Square Park onward, like 10 people deep all the way across on the sidewalk. It was amazing. What a turnout. It felt so good. And I would love to do it again. And it was just...
I want you to... I'm recruiting you right now, but I want you to join the union so I can have you in the committees and stuff.
I mean, I'm eligible.
Well, what the...
I just need the $3,000 to join. Ooh, somebody give me a SAG job.
Actually, I can talk to you about that off camera. There's options. Anyway, okay. off recording.
Well, and also, which we did announce in our Instagram reel.
Oh, yeah.
But we haven't officially said here is that...
We're now officially SAG-AFTRA podcast under the micro budget agreement.
Yay! Yeah. And let's talk about that really quick too, because I think this is a new thing.
Very new.
Like the podcast coverage.
Yeah, I'm about to watch that video they just came out with, like our new contracts, our new podcast contracts.
I love it.
Get in the gig.
So like, can we talk about that? Like, can we get into it? Like, I want to hear like the nitty gritty of it all.
Well, I know enough to where I'm the one who like got the contract ready and got us signed and everything, but I need to know. I feel like I need to do like know more before I go into like I want to watch the video. I want to go into all the tiers, because we're in a certain agreement that's like a certain tier, and then there's like other tiers. There's some lower, there's some higher, and it's really cool because just like the influencer agreement that SAG-AFTRA came out with in the last few years, just like the micro budget agreement, it's really progressive, it's really all inclusive, and it's really awesome because you get the protections that you need.
That's one thing that I really love about SAG that I don't love about other unions.
The teachers union.
Right. Is that they make...
Just kidding, love teachers.
They make creating things so easy and accessible.
Yes.
And it's literally like, I mean, I watched you do this contract. It took you 15 seconds.
It did. Because once I sent in... Okay, so I'm a SAG signatory producer. And if they look down my list, they can see my number and how many things I've produced. And it's got to be less... Because I've been the producer on other people's stuff so many times, it's probably like 15. And I just was like, they're going to look and be like, okay, she's good for it. let's do it. But it was so simple and so easy to do that it was just like, okay, great. This is how it should be. And they always say our phrases, and I've said this on the podcast before, easy to work with, harder to fight. Because that's literally the point.
That should be the point.
Let's make art. Be the point. But if you're a dick, we're going to, protect our artists. Yeah.
Totally.
Bitch.
Yeah. Bitch.
Bitch.
But how, for inquiring minds who might want to know, how does one become, me included, a signatory producer?
So what you do is you don't have to be in SAG-AFTRA. You don't have to be in the union to be a SAG signatory producer.
Noted. Okay.
You just have to have your body of work, your script, whatever it is. For us, it's the podcast. I showed evidence that we recorded it, what the premise is, who we are, our background, blah, 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 blah. And then you just kind of apply, and they do a background check, and they check all your stuff, and they make sure like you've never had a history of like not paying artists or whatever, or violent offense, blah, 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 or a felony or whatever is going on. You know what I'm saying? Actually, I think felons should be able to, after they serve their time, do podcasts. So maybe it'll be fine, or do artwork. But what I'm saying is there's no like open case for your arrest or something.
Right.
And they check on everything, but they also check that you have like, that you're not just being like, I want to do this. Yeehaw. And they're like, that's not a thing. I don't know what we're not going to spend a person's time to do this, even though some things are automated now, which is smart.
Which is so smart.
But it's still like germane. It's still like covering all the bases. But yeah, to be a SAG signatory producer, just have something, want to make it union. Okay. And then you send in the script, you send in the budget, you send in because typically it's for scripted stuff. Obviously for this, it's just a different whole new world, a dazzling place we always knew. And basically, you send in like your script, your budget, your information, background information. They'll check everything, whether you're an LLC, are you a business, are you a sole proprietorship, whatever that is. And then they background check you. They check everything, check your ID, they check all that stuff. And then in a few days to like a week, maybe a little bit longer, they'll okay you as a SAG signatory producer. And then you can start applying for projects under those things. What got me to be a producer, a SAG signatory producer, was my original Dr. Seeds, the web series version, not the one that was on Amazon, that, that's like still like, that got me at like Emmy can search and stuff. It's the original one that got me as a...
Yeah.
And once I was in, I was like, oh, I'm hooked like in making shit. And I want to make sure that if I'm in it, it's going to be union. And if it's something that's under their contracts, which now podcasts are, then I'm going to make it union. So as soon as that thing hit the shelves, that's when I went for us. I don't know which number we are in the till, but we could be one of the first, you know what I mean? Like one of the first, I don't know, couple hundred that went for it. I'm sure there's many now, but like sure. I went for it, because I was like, as soon as I can do this, that means we have documentation of us. When we have people on the pod, we can send them a talent agreement, which doesn't mean anything other than like at some point when we're getting giant sponsors. I mean,
so many
gigante sponsors. Then we can, then we'll have like more to divvy up. But the point is it'll be protected because we've protected ourselves.
Right. And then also, and I'm speaking about this from an actors equity perspective.
Sure.
I know that there's a thing that I was able to do for someone who worked for me retroactively, where they needed like another week or two of insurance weeks, and I was able to fill out some paperwork and send it to like somebody or other, and then they were able to get that because they were working with me. Now, is there something like that with SAG where if we have someone on who is either SAG eligible or is a SAG member and we put them on the contract, that we could help move the needle for them? I think with the agreement that we have, I'm not sure they would get eligibility, but they would also, if they were union, they would be protected to the full extent. And if they were non-union, they would still be protected to the full extent. I don't think it would give eligibility, but I think that's something that down the line can happen. I think that's a really interesting conversation to have.
Because I know with episodic stuff or like on camera stuff, the micro budget agreement does not give you eligibility, whereas like the new media, special new media at a certain tier gives everyone eligibility. Like I gave 9 non-union people SAG-AFTRA status from that last pilot I produced. Yeah. Because it met a certain requirement. Right. So they can pay into that, or they can create they can start them off on the right path.
Well, and because I also asked too, because voiceover, it kind of straddles a weird line with that too. Yeah. Because it is, I guess, like new media or whatever.
Yeah, but I think a principal voiceover in like something that's SAG-AFTRA that's like at a certain, again, I think it has to be like any commercial that's like SAG-AFTRA and you have a principal role, you will become eligible. Or any radio play that's scripted that's like produced at a certain level will get you eligibility.
Right.
It will immediately.
Yeah.
I don't know at what tier it kind of makes the jump. That gets into like the weeds for contracts. But what I do know is that the whole point of having like smaller contracts or contracts that from like things that are starting out or things that are whatever is so the members that are already there are protected and the people coming in are treated as such. It doesn't give them eligibility, but it does give them gives them the opportunity to work with union people.
Yeah, no, it's just, and of course, like after you said I need to watch this thing to learn more about it, I'm of course asking you about it. And
yeah, no, I know, but I know
pull
for
answers out of your
you're fine. No, I know for a fact though, I think our podcast contract as this one does not have the eligibility in it, but I think that down the line that's going to be something that will probably be worked out. Yeah. It's probably going to be like a tier level. Like once we start making blank money, they'll be like, okay, we can start putting money into like whoever you Taft-Hartley or whoever becomes that person. Yeah. We can then allot that to them so they can get their pension, whatever they need, whatever they're joining. Which is I want to say to people on the pod right now is that if you want to join SAG-AFTRA and you're scared about joining because of money, go to the Actors Federal Credit Union. They will pay it for you, and you have I think you have 2 years to pay it off with no interest. Interesting to know. That's my bank. One of them. It's a wonderful bank. I'm about to switch all my stuff, move all my savings over there because like Wells Fargo. Yikes. Yikes. Well, the Wells Fargo wagon is not coming down the house. Yeah, they make fake accounts under your name all the time. They're freaking shiesty as hell. They've been doing this for years. Yeah, I know. And the only reason I'm there is because when I was 16 and I got my first little bank account, it was at First Union Bank, which then was bought by Wachovia, which was then bought by Wells Fargo. Yeehaw. Yee freaking ha. Banks suck. Yeah, no, for real. I've been with Actors Federal for a while. I was with Chase and they were doing some things I didn't like. And so I was like, I'm going to go to AFCU because they have better interest rates and this, that, and the next thing. But also they're janky as hell, and unfortunately they're understaffed. So if you ever have to call them for anything, or like applying for a loan takes forever and a day because there's like 4 people that work in the office. Like it's a credit union. Totally. That's what I'm gonna say. Right. I'm gonna stay. Yes. My backup, and I'm gonna say if that's okay. If you need immediate help, that is not the place for you. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. But what I like, and just to like clarify, I've been there for like 8 years, so like you've experienced the gamut. I've experienced all of the things, and I do love them, and I do intend to stay. Yeah. Just a tangent there. I feel that. No, but like, I wouldn't know. I do know the people who work there because we've done a lot of really cool stuff with them, like with our convention or like. But something I've brought up to our New York contingent members or like people who are like pre-members, as I like to call them, not non-union, pre-members. That's something that we talk about in our local, that it's a possibility here in New York. That's something they offer. That's Whereas amazing. Like in Los Angeles, there's one as well at another credit union. I don't remember, at like Actors First Credit Union or something like that. But I don't know if it's in the other locals as well, which sucks. And I think that sucks for the smaller to mid. But they're also, their fee to join is much less. Interesting. Yep. It's much less to join in like another local than it is in New York and LA. Interesting. Yep. Well, it makes sense because where's all the work? Right. Why are we going to charge somebody over here the same amount of money as someone over here? I do think it makes sense because I think it's kind of wrong to charge a blanket fee to everyone in the United States, especially like, I mean, now, yes, work is more spread out, but especially when these things were decided, somebody in like Peoria. Yeah. It's not going to have the wherewithal to have all this work that we're having in New York and LA. And then it just makes sense. Like it's imbalanced. I think that was a really thoughtful thing for them to do, and I do think that the people with the people that have more should be the ones helping those with not the more options. Like we should help by giving more, right? No, I agree. So I love that about that they thought of that in the beginning. I was like, that's very smart because I feel bad for my friends, and like other smaller locals that are just like, I get this many auditions a week most. And I'm like, damn, you know what I mean? Right. Well, and I think that's also kind of a narrative that a lot of people in the online space talking to actors push is that like, you should not join SAG until you're at a certain level or until you're ready or whatever. And I mean, like, I've always questioned that for me because I became SAG eligible because I was Taft-Hartley'd in because I put my dick on HBO. That's a big thing to do.
It was
honestly
a big thing to do. But also that paycheck.
Oh, that's what I mean.
Was really girthy. It was.
I love that word.
Real nice.
Work.
But yeah, that's how I Taft-Hartley did it on The Deuce.
Well, you did it on HBO.
I did.
That's sick.
Hello. It was great. It was actually, that was the thing. I think we've talked about this before, but that was the thing that made me be like, I really want to do more television.
Yeah, dude. TV's
because
awesome.
we had such a great day.
Oh, TV's incredible.
And like Alicia Rodess, like shout out to that queen, who just had a whole, I think not a whole article, but she was quoted in an article about The Idol and that whole situation with their intimacy coordinator. But she's just the best, and we had the best time on set with her.
Good.
She was so cool. The HBO close set for like the nudity part was just the most professional,
HBO is such a great
thing.
team. I'm sorry, Max.
Which actually is another thing that happened in the industry recently.
Yes.
Not the Max thing, but also I believe it was Paramount just absorbed Showtime.
Interesting.
Yeah, so they're obviously trying to compete with
all these conglomerates are getting big, baby.
all the conglomerates, baby. I mean, what was it? It was HBO absorbed Discovery or Discovery absorbed HBO.
Yeah.
Okay,
Which
and so
is
now
wild.
Paramount, I believe, absorbed Showtime.
Okay. Love Showtime.
And Showtime's gone, and it's just Paramount now. But Discovery is still is a separate thing from HBO. It's just now Max, which I'm sorry, I'm always going to call it HBO. My bad.
Oh my God, home box office, HBO. That's my girl right there. HBO girl. Well, like what I love is like if you go onto the Max app, which I had to download, and you go to like there's an HBO section, so it's all HBO originals, and they're still calling it that. I don't know how long that's going to stay, but I hate it that like it changed because there is such a prestige to that name.
Totally.
I mean, even when they fuck shit up, you're still like, it's HBO. I still love them. Yeah, they're going to come out with some good shit next year. Don't worry.
And it was like Showtime and HBO and like maybe Stars were like the three things that you could rely on to see like nudity and like kind of grittier stories.
FXX. Yeah, for sure.
Which, you know, as a teenager, I was like, yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're like, I want to see all of that.
Show me some dick.
Chitters.
No, I didn't want to see those.
No, you didn't. Well,
you know.
America.
Our like weird relationship with nudity on television here in the States.
Yeah, well, it's like if it's not exploitive, I love the advent of coordinators, like intimacy coordinators.
Absolutely.
I think that's so necessary because I've been on sets where I've been like, you added what?
Yeah, well, I mean, that was the story with The Idol. I don't know if you saw this, but like the whole thing was that the intimacy coordinator came up, was present during a scene where like this woman, I don't remember the name of the actress, but she like had her shirt open, wasn't off, and they were filming something like that, and they had talked about it and coordinated it, and of course like did their job.
Sure. And
then the actress like whipped her boobies out, and the intimacy coordinator stopped the scene and was like, actually in your contract you're not allowed to do that.
Right.
You know, that's a whole thing we need to go back into negotiation for. So like just don't do that because that's not part of the scene.
Yeah.
And like she was like, what? I can't do that. And then they ended up locking the intimacy coordinator in a closet.
That's the plot line in the show.
Oh, is
that's
it?
That's not what happened behind the
Got
scenes.
it. I'm
that's
not watching
literally
the show. Got it. Okay.
I'm not watching the show,
Cool.
but D'Angelo Wallace, shout out to you, Boo Boo, on YouTube. D'Angelo Wallace, one of my favorite commentators on everything. That Boo Boo has the best insight on almost everything. Okay. And I think they're quite young, but they're very astute. That's actually the plot line. So that show show trips at the starting line from the beginning because the literal antagonist of the first episode is the intimacy coordinator. Oh, no. Y'all are fucking up.
Yeah.
And also The Weeknd.
Okay, so I'm not watching it, and so now I look dumb. But
I won't watch it.
But I was reading something about it on I think Deadline. And
no, that's the plot of the first episode.
Okay, got it.
And there's so many scenes where Lily Rose Depp is masturbating for no reason and choking herself. They do it like over and over, and none of the men are, and it's like really exploitive. And I understand like it just seems sus. This is made by a dude, and it's like we're trying to like show like the exploitation and like what that is, but by exploiting people.
Yeah,
it's such a miss. I don't know, like it's just such a miss. I mean,
I also think it's weird that it's only 5 episodes.
They cut it down because it was so bad.
Okay, this is again something I saw on Twitter today. I saw that it was always supposed to be 5 episodes.
Yes, but it was going to be possibly 6 because you can't. Here's what I know. You can't be qualified for any awards if you don't have 6 episodes. And they made it down to 5. So obviously something and not good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that show to me is irresponsible. Look, I'm not like a prude, but I'm also like, this is irresponsible. The messaging is off.
Well, if it doesn't play into the story in like a real way.
Yeah, and there's a
it's
very
just there
abusive
to, like, be
human being
there.
that The Weeknd plays terribly. No offense, dude, you're acting wow. And no, it's so bad. It's like how did this happen? And like they'll play The Weeknd's music while he's sexually violating her, and it's like you're like, who thought of it? Who thought this was like the way to go?
Right, like what is the narrative here?
What is the point?
Again,
like,
I have not seen this, so I know nothing about
there's a
this
lot
other
of
than what
really
I've read.
I guess we'll do trigger warning, but there's just a lot of really I know it's made by the same guy who did Euphoria, so shocker, but it's just like it's taking another step.
But, like, Euphoria was good.
Right, that's my
loved
point.
Euphoria.
But that's my point. It's like taking all the stuff from Euphoria that's not good for humans and making it so it's not like shown in the light that is responsible. It's also not shown in like, it's not well written. It's not well acted. Lily Rose Depp, I commend you because you obviously went through the ringer for this, because the things they made you do and the things that you
see, now I want to watch it out of curiosity.
I'll send you a video. Guys, here's what I'm going to say. Don't watch it and go to D'Angelo Wallace on YouTube, and he breaks it down each episode, and it's very entertaining.
Okay.
And his reactions are like,
okay.
That's what I recommend.
Send me that. I would love to watch it.
I'll send that immediately to you because that's how I know the plot of everything. And there's like good actors in it. It's just a shame because
I'm so
the
embarrassed
material
that I
is bad.
mixed up the plot from what
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
literally
was
the plot.
happening.
Yeah, I'm glad. Well, look, I would have been like, wow, but luckily I've seen the commentary because I'm like, I'm not gonna, you know, for lack of a better word, like talk about something negatively unless I know at least like why I'm damning it. And it had the warning signs from a mile away that this is going to be bad. This is going to be exploitive.
El problematico.
Yeah, el problematico. Like basically at Cannes, the critics were like, I feel awful that I watched this. I feel this was irresponsible.
Oh, no.
Like that. You know what I mean? Like you're just watching and you're like, the fact that this was made is like very upsetting.
Yeah.
Like that this even made it past like, because there's like lines in it that you're just like, what? She's like, mental illness is sexy. Like really, really, really try hard,
and I think
stupid shit.
I want to tie this into the rich bitch thing too.
Yeah, let's please
because
talk.
like I feel like a lot of people stop themselves from going past a certain point because they feel like they're not good enough or they're not going to get there. Or it's too big of a mountain to climb. Mm-hmm. But then, you know, again, haven't seen this, so this is not my opinion. But like, you know, I'm basing this off of what we talked about. But if something like that can get made,
facts,
then like sky's the limit, man.
I'm telling you right now,
it's like the living delusional part.
100%, because I'm thinking about what made me think I had the audacity to write Dr. Seeds and then make a show that about a non-licensed psychiatrist who rides the D train and tries to fix people is because I was on set where people had gotten massive amounts of money for a crap script. Yeah. And I'm sitting, and they were dudes, you know,
of course,
white dudes. And I'm just like sitting there and I'm like, the women in this are morons. It's written like it's written like a man, he's never spoken to a woman in his life. And it's written like, I don't have like I have no backstory. I'm plot. Like I'm here for you guys.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm a vehicle.
Yeah, and it's like this got so much money and like it's not good. So I should be writing things because I have the audacity. I'm an intelligent person. I should be writing some shit.
And I really,
smart bitch.
I know we keep coming back to the audacity of it all, but that's really what it comes down to.
The audacity of it
all. I just had a conversation with
audacity.
Yeah, I just had a conversation with a friend last night about this too, because they're kind of dipping their toes and have been for like the last year or two into like the drag scene.
Fun.
And,
oh God, can
and
I follow
they said
their
to me, they said to me like, oh, you know, the only real way to make it as a drag performer is like to get on RuPaul's Drag Race. And I was like, false. Wrong. Absolutely false.
Absolutely wrong.
And it was just kind of, and like nothing against it or anything, but it's just like RuPaul's Drag Race is in like what, season 400? Like,
yeah.
Like I'm almost to the point now
14?
where it's like,
I don't know.
Yeah, got it. Okay, cool. You're on Drag Race.
And you're in like 5. Well, first off, love that you're in all those countries because you're spreading awareness of people, because people used to kill you in those countries for being this.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's not the only, if that was the only vehicle, then we are disregarding real good fucking drag queens.
Absolutely. And we were talking about like Willem as
and you're
an
limiting
example.
yourself.
Yeah, we're talking about Willem as an example.
Yeah,
and
Willem
how,
got kicked
they played
off.
all these roles on TV, as an actual actor
Facts.
before like that, like
Playing
drag,
all sorts of characters.
right, before the drag faction really kind of was the full
100.
identity of that person. So like really what it came down to was having the audacity, person having the audacity to like write something for themselves where drag isn't the point, and it's just the fact that they're a character who happens to be in drag playing that role.
It's
and
a vehicle.
I talk about this a lot with queer writing too. Like, I don't feel there is a time and a place where it needs to be shoved in someone's face that this is the culture, this is what happens, this is what's expected, this is protocol for pronouns, and this, that, and the next thing. However, I do think that I don't want to say we're getting to a point, but we're going to get to a point, again, time and a place,
Sure.
where that conversation doesn't need to be had. And it's kind of the more show me, don't tell me idea, where it's like, I don't need you to like jam down my face that you're a drag queen. I can see you're a drag queen.
We're seeing
I don't
it.
need you to tell me that. Just play the part and tell the story.
Yeah.
And
Be a
like that's
human.
right. Well, and that is going to further humanize queer like communities within the queer community, because they're looked at as others because media keeps othering them.
Or tokenizing them.
Exactly. That's what I
Right?
mean. And so like by creating a narrative for yourself and writing roles for oneself
Yeah.
about them or about a character where their queerness is just how they exist and it's not the point of the story, then like that's what I want to see. And the
Same.
example that I used was White Collar when that was on TV.
Right.
Matt Bomer was gay. No one knew it. The character wasn't, but in my mind, because I'd never watched the show, that's a gay character. And it was like, it wouldn't have mattered.
No.
And and it's just, and I don't want to come at this from like a heteronormative perspective, but like if we just write stories about people and then assign identities to them later and then make adjustments accordingly, to me, that's an easier way of writing something than if you're like, I'm going to set off to write a role for a, person that is nothing like me and whatever. I am doing this right now where I'm writing the story and then I will decide later
Right.
if that person is on the queer spectrum, if they're on an autism spectrum, like
Right.
if they're a person of color or not, or like where they're like I'll figure that out later and then make story adjustments
Also,
as necessary.
or also like audition, like what I did for Dr. Seeds is I auditioned a very diverse pool. I had no
Right.
idea who was going to be anything, what's this, what's that. And we ended
Well,
up
and
being
that's
a
what I
very
mean.
diverse cast because you just bring in a diverse pool and the best people are going to get the part.
Right, and that's what I mean by making adjustments
Yeah.
later. Like if it happens to be a role where adjustments need
Of
to
course.
be made for their background, of course.
Or there's some roles that you like, I wrote this for a purpose. And sometimes that does lend itself to that, okay, that must be a woman or whatever. Like, who knows? But the thing is like, you're right. Like, if we keep making stories that are like niche, then America's not going to look, or the world's not going to look at a people and be like, oh, category.
Yeah. Well, and I think the thing about this that really bugs me the most, and we've talked about this before, is that like the trope of queer media is always drug addict, sex
Poppers.
worker, like in the club,
Yeah.
shooting up, dying of AIDS. Like those are the main things.
So
And
fucking
like
tired.
it's so tired. Like I just want to see.
But that's not you, honey.
No, it's not
That's the
me,
thing.
and it's no one I know.
Right.
And so it's like, why can't we just write stories about our lives,
Right.
where being on the queer spectrum is just an ornament on the bigger tree?
100%. That's part of your being. It's not your being.
It's not my
You're
whole
You're
identity.
like, I am gay. Gay is what I am.
Right.
I am gay.
But the problem is that a lot of the people, I'm making an assumption, but a lot of the people writing these things, it is their identity, and so they don't know how to write beyond that.
Right.
Because their whole identity is going to the club and poppers and drag and
it's
and
that, and
Kylie
it's like, what
Minogue.
will the networks buy?
Right, totally.
Right?
I mean, there's right, and
Society is the issue.
and I also think that that's another reason why we're about to have, after all of this strike negotiation things, there's going to be a massive influx of indie filmmaking and
I'm very excited.
indie television making. I'm very excited too, because like, who cares what the networks are doing? Like, they're already fucking around and finding out, and like,
And they're behind.
and I would love to be a part of them if
Right.
they're going to catch up. But otherwise, I am happy to pool my resources and favors and just do it myself with my people.
Right?
Because I think that we're going to be able to tell better stories that come from a more relatable, authentic place than if we have a board and shareholders breathing down our neck to be like, no, that's not what middle America wants to see.
Right.
Because to be honest,
they do.
I don't care what middle America
well,
wants
also,
to see.
they do want to see it. That's why
Of
all these
course.
shows are being watched.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And my thing is like, I hate that, like, that's another category. Middle America. Who the fuck is that? I mean, truly, like, you go anywhere, you're going to see a group of people, and there's going to be some people that are for something, some people aren't. It's like the world is crazy. Like, it's so annoying. It's like, and especially like what I can relate to, especially as being a woman, it's like, what made me want to write was like every single woman I ever read on the page was like, who is this? I don't know any girls like this. I don't talk to any girls like this.
It's the thinking of a certain group of people as a monolith.
Right.
You know,
I'm sure there are some girls like that. But
doing
like,
that for you as a woman and seeing how they're being written, me talking about the people
right.
in middle America, talking about queer people on the page.
Yeah.
Like, we're all viewing these things as monoliths, and they're just not. And so how can we get over that hump?
Right. And I think one of the coolest stories too, and this kind of ties in with one of my scenes I shot today, not an audition, this was my final for like my international acting studio class. I chose a scene from Alien, and I chose like a scene where Ripley, it's the first time Dallas has gone down, and she's the second in command, and she finally has to take charge, and you see all the players, like the ones that remain, the last time together before everyone's by themselves or things are going haywire and all that stuff. And I chose that because it was important to me when they wrote the script, because I have the original script, there was a man in the role, but then they were like, we're just gonna see who does a good job, or also we're gonna maybe switch it up and see. And it was written for a dude. They changed it to a female. Enter Sigourney Weaver. It's it. You know what I mean? And like, it's one of the most iconic roles. And nothing about it is like a woman couldn't play that, because it wasn't even written for a woman. It's just written for a person, and it's just good.
Yeah,
that's it.
It is. And I think again, writing for a person.
Yeah, a multifaceted human being.
Right.
That's hopes and dreams and fears and all the things above.
Exactly. And unless there's something about the reason why you're writing it, that being a queer person or a person of color or a woman or whatever needs to be adhered on that human, on that character, then like, of course, do that. But can we stop with like the tropiness of it all?
Yeah.
I'm so tired.
Yeah, I'm tired too. I'm fucking tired.
I'm fucking tired.
And again, if I'm going to write something about something happening, like the Roe v. Wade thing, or like everything happening in the world, the best way for me to turn people off and for them not to listen is to make it super fucking tropey, super preachy. The best thing I do is show authentic human beings living in the world as it is, or what it could be. Yeah. And having a message.
And I think, again, to tie this back into Barbie, I think one of the reasons why I'm so excited to see that is because it sounds as if though they have done that.
Right.
And then just like doused it in glitter and camp.
I love that. There's someone's
yelling outside the window.
They're applauding us. Zombie outside is freaking out.
They're like, yeah,
brains. I wanted to say I agree with this entirely, and that's always been something for me, is like, if we just start with a great diverse pool of human beings and just create something good, it's going to come out. But no one thinks of that from the get. They have to have this person be this person be this. We need to fit this. We have a pie chart. We didn't get this one. We didn't get. It's just very annoying, and it's like I understand why, but I understand why it's been that way lately, because it was so the other way.
Yeah,
we had to do something.
And I'm so for like give everyone a chance. Like give
but to be authentic and interesting, and to reach the minds of people that maybe don't have access to a lot of this, and to change hearts and minds, or to touch hearts and minds, is just hiring the best people.
I want to refer to this, and I maybe we'll put this in the show notes here for this episode, but there was, again, I'm spending all day reading Deadline now, and they just put out like I think it was the top 10 non-produced scripts written by queer writers, and some of them I was like, I would watch that in a heartbeat. Because a lot of them, from the sounds of it, are what we're talking about. Right. Like, yes, it's a queer story, but it's not human story. Like, some of them were like sci-fi, and I was like, oh my god, like I can't think of it right now. Part of me wants to pull it up. It's just gonna take too long to find it. Fine. But oh my god,
that's fun.
I'm so excited.
I love sci-fi.
About like some of these unproduced people, and I'm hoping that like feature in Deadline will get them some attention and some money towards their project, because oh my god.
Yeah, we have some brilliant minds.
Yeah.
If anything, I noticed from like doing film festivals lately and seeing like people from like whether it's the Inwood Film Festival or the Golden Door, like recently a movie of mine that I'm the lead in premiered at Golden Door. It was fabulous. I had a lot of people text me about it, which was really cool after it, and were like quoting the movie to me. Really cool to feel that. It's just like when you make good stuff, indie stuff or big stuff, but it reaches that like indie audience, it's such a great game changer, and it really creates a community. Yeah, and I just think it's important.
I'm looking up these writers now.
Do it.
Because I'm really mad that I can't.
But I did want to say about Pride another thing, since like I don't think we've done an episode post Pride. We there's no way we have. I started my weekend being paid to dance at a like street party.
Oh my God, that's right.
And then I got to see Trixie Mattel, one of my favorite queens, spin some records on the rooftop, and it was so good. And there's a clip on my Instagram where she's like, "You wanted me to drop it? Say drop it, bitch. Say hell yeah, bitch." And right when I was filming the big TV screen of her saying like, we were all saying hell yeah, bitch. It's literally me on the TV screen holding up my phone saying, hell, I can see myself filming myself
it's
saying
so funny.
It's fun. And that was such an iconic way to start it off. And then just to segue, it was just a fabulous Pride.
It really was.
Yeah.
And I forgot about that because so much has happened in
so
the
much.
last week.
Oh, and then your Billboard.
Oh my God.
We're so
what
stupid.
What are we even doing?
We're so
You
dumb.
mean the highlight of my life?
Well, yeah, literally. I
totally
came and I
forgot.
literally took somebody. Like I was there too. It's not like you just were there. Like we both were there.
No, we were. And I got all the photos back from
I'm excited.
Rebecca J. Michelson, who's brilliant.
Rebecca J. Michelson.
Love her so much. Shout out.
RJM.
Yeah, I had a billboard in Times Square over Pride.
Yeah. What the?
Forgot to mention.
I'm like, wait a minute. Can we just go back and say?
I was like, let's wrap up the Pride. Like, nope.
No more Pride talk. I'm like,
let's re-unwrap.
This was your Pride. Like
It
you
was
had
my
a
Pride.
tell-
This was the best Pride I could have asked
Yeah,
for.
let's think. I mean, yeah. So it started. I had
Wow,
a dance
okay.
party. Was on a rooftop with Trixie Mattel, getting it done. And then the next day, I was there for your billboard in Times Square for your book.
The billboard reveal. It was so daunting. Like, I went back on Saturday because my mom came into town to see it, and then we went and saw Some Like It Hot, and we had a whole dinner thing. It was really fun. But we stood on the other side of the street underneath it to like look up at it, and it was so daunting to like look up and see 33 feet of my face.
Love that.
In LED.
We love 33 feet.
Same. And I don't think I will ever forget that feeling. I don't really have
can't.
a word for it. But it was just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That
was a blast.
It was a blast. We had such a good time, and then like made our way over to the drama bookshop and like took some photos and bought some
I made some good friends at that drama bookshop.
You
I
sure
hadn't been
did.
there.
That guy behind the counter loved you.
Yeah, we were BFFs by the end. Like we were friends.
Yes. And I ran into my friend Robert, who I love.
Yeah.
It was just such a good weekend. The billboard of it all. Just
I bought a signed copy and I have
sure
it
did.
on my bookshelf.
Yes. Just the whole weekend was kind of magical.
I agree.
Like Friday
Finish.
was like the event with the friends and the Times Squares and then Playbill Pride. My friend Brian produced that whole thing, and it was so great.
That's awesome.
And that was going
that was
on
amazing.
at the same time
while we were doing
as the billboard. Yep. And so we got to experience that at the same time. And then, the drama bookshop thing. And then, the next day was the
hotel lobby drinking.
The hotel
live
lobby
piano
drinking.
realness.
Yep, with my friend Dan Pardo and his wife Chrissy, who sings her ass off.
Yes.
And then my mom came in the weekend, and we got to see the billboard again, which was great. And I have a picture of her taking a picture of it, and it just like makes
so cute.
I love my mom.
Your mom's awesome.
She's the best.
Yeah.
And then
I love our moms. We have good moms.
Same, we do.
Yeah.
And like it just was fun. And then Sunday was the parade, of course. So like all of that happened. I
love the kids having a meltdown in the hallway right now.
Oh my God, they've migrated. But all that happened in the expanse of like 3 days.
That's what I mean. So I'm sitting here and I'm like,
It's
wait,
wild.
there was more, because I was like,
there was.
I feel like it started off with like iconicness, and then it was like iconicness, and then it was like iconicness. Like, so I feel like this is the best one I think I've had in a long time.
Same. I mean, for obvious reasons.
Well, yeah.
But like, I mean, you're big part of that with the SAG marching with SAG.
That was. Honestly,
I had so much fun.
Like, why is that the thing we keep talking about? But honestly, we just need to be in more parades. I think that's what we just figured out.
I need more billboards. I'm gonna do that again sometime.
I'm gonna do one eventually. Of course, I will do one.
Let's all
I'll book
do
something.
one. Everyone should do a billboard.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Put the money on the table.
Okay, I did pull up the writers.
Okay,
that I was
yeah,
talking
we'll
about.
finish here.
And this is the one that stood out to me. There were a couple that did, but this
so
is
it's
the
like a
one that I
log
was
line.
Fuck. Sort of.
Okay.
Yes. So it's called Glorious Empire by a non-binary person named Amanda Caitlin Eberhardt. And it says, in an age of extreme decadence and political unrest, a rebellious teen empress sets her sights on one of Rome's holiest and most untouchable of women, setting off a chain of events that threatens to tear down the most powerful empire in the world if her own family doesn't destroy her first. Based on the incredible true story of Rome's first and only trans female ruler, Elagabalus.
Work.
I want to watch the fuck out of that.
I would watch the out of that, baby.
There's some really
that's fun.
Yeah, I mean, there's some really.
That's why I hear that and I go, that's a real story. I always think of it like, why isn't that movie about Julie Dagny been made? That's that swords woman that was like.
Oh right, we keep talking about her. I love her.
It just kills me because, or Anne Bonny, or like, you know, like I don't know. Just like there's so many people that need movies.
This is another one. It's called Hex. By Joey Capuana. I'm totally pronouncing it wrong. Fine. I'm so sorry, Joey. It's called Hex. It says, a deceptive and tenacious drag queen and his coven of novice witches must unravel a twisted supernatural mystery, becoming unlikely heroes in a centuries-old struggle with satanic forces. Like, what in the world?
Can I be in that
I have no idea what that vibe is, what it looks like, but I'm so interested.
Oh, I want to be in that
coven. Could be so fun.
Okay, sign me up.
These and that's the thing. I really hope that some of these things that these
are
people have written get made.
They're getting me
they're
in.
So great. They're like giving me so much excitement.
Yeah. See, and that's more excitement than half the shit that's, I mean, 90% of the shit.
90% of the shit.
98.
Someone go give them money.
Yeah, just give these people your money. Give us your money.
And then give us some money.
Yeah, exactly. The firework just went off when we said that. Yes, exactly. Like, we have some good ideas, so give us money.
Yeah, and I have more, and I just started another one. I started another log line for another idea.
I'm glad the pitch deck thing is doing good because I have to agree with you. My mind works that way, too, where, like, I've actually stopped writing the whole thing. And I've done a pitch deck first.
There's so many people I've talked to who've been like, don't write anything. Write a pitch deck first. And it's so helpful.
It makes you organize it.
Who would have thought? Like, writer brain is so much like, I need to get this idea out and write it. But like, that's what a pitch deck does.
Yeah.
It helps you get the idea out.
And people have different ways.
Organize it. Totally.
People have different ways. Like, they do beach. So Mike is very much into the beat sheets. Like, he'll do like a list of the 60 things that happen.
Yeah.
And then he like writes the thing. I like to do a pitch deck because, and I like beats too, but like I like to do a pitch deck because to me it's like, let's talk about the characters, let's talk about the world first, let's talk about where are we going, where are we ending, what's the message, what's the symbolism, then it starts filling in the blanks, especially for series when you're trying to come up with like plot structure for like the 12 episodes of season 1. Well, and
I also like the component of a pitch deck where you kind of
visual
like suss out what's going to happen in season 2 because then that also gets me excited to like paint some more colors into season 1.
Yes, God.
I love it.
No, I think it's the best thing ever.
I agree.
As soon as I started getting into pitch decks, I was like, love you.
Yeah, I totally see why you're into it.
Yeah, it's a creative outlet, and it's to me, it's like, I've started taking clients, new clients, because I finally have the room. I did so many this year, and which has been really great. So yeah, if you guys ever want to, it's gonna be a couple months from now at least. But if you want to have a pitch deck made,
well, maybe not by the time
maybe not. Woo, hell yeah! She's in demand. SarahSeeds.com. I have a pitch deck link there, or you can just DM me at SarahSeeds. I do have. I've made so many pitch decks at this point, and I just love doing them. There's so many ideas that people bring, and it's so wonderful to like see their idea come to life. And honestly, some of them I get really involved in to the point where they're like, we want you to come on as like whatever, like producer in it, whatever you want. And sometimes and that's cool if they don't either, but sometimes you vibe so hard on an idea, and that's the creative process, that you're just like, wow, this is really good. You need to make this.
No, I love.
Yeah.
More fireworks.
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 But anyway, so yeah, to end this episode, I just want to say one thing. We don't know what's going to happen with SAG-AFTRA. I don't know why people were freaking out about that video. Everyone needs to just calm down.
Yeah, and we'll keep people updated. And if we we'll throw bonus episodes out as like stuff unfolds.
Yes. I have behind the scenes stuff I can't talk about, but I will say this. What will happen will happen. If SAG-AFTRA does agree, I shared a video about it too, that WGA East LGBT rep guy, he's awesome. Like, he's a member of it. I share his stuff all the time. He has a very good way of level head of looking at that stuff. He's like, look, if there's demons in my hallway. It's pretty wild. Anyway, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, see?
Are they playing tag? What's happening?
Yeah, I think they're youths.
Oh, great. Okay, cool.
It's just youths.
Great.
Being
the
youths.
youths.
Yeah, it's been recently. I don't know what happened. I think the school's out for summer, and I've just had a lot of experience of that. Yeah. Anyway, my point is that if SAG-AFTRA in how many days? 2 days. We'll know either way. And if they agree to, if they settle on something with the AMPTP, it's going to be incredible. Because we're not going to do it otherwise. Yeah. The membership has voted and showed that we're a cool striking bitch if you don't do what we want. So that's my point. Is like us as a union are all like, nah, if you don't want to do what we want to do, deuce. Like, that's obvious. Yeah. So either it's going to be good for us and we'll say yes, and that's a good thing, guys, or it's not going to be what we want, and then we're also striking along with the writers. And I love that the guy who was in the Writers Guild, who's representing, who's a rep for them, or he's a member of the guild, and he's in a committee, I think the LGBTQIA Committee East, I believe. He was saying how, look, don't be upset if SAG-AFTRA settles on the 30th. That means they've taken the whole month and it's good. But also don't be surprised if they strike. Like, it's going to be either way.
And like both things will be good for us.
Exactly. Both things will be good because we can't. If someone, let's just say they go, wait, okay, we're going to give you literally everything you asked for. Whoa, what a change for all of us. Yeah. Because I got to say, it's good.
Although playing devil's advocate here, I don't think that's going to happen. No. Only because studio executives are not that malleable, and they're going to try and hold on to as much profit as they can. And they already got the DGA to do whatever, so they're going to try it with us. But we're not going to do it, guys. We're not going to do it. I know this union. I know some of the negotiators. There's no way we're gonna go. Yeah, and like in their defense, and I will never defend them normally, but like they're just doing their jobs. You know, like this was a point that Rachel Bloom had made early on that I pointed to. Like, their jobs are not to make films. Their jobs are to make money and to create. Get out of the trash, naughty girl. She's on drugs. Clear. Sorry, my cat's on drugs. And like their jobs are to make money by way of making film and television. Facts. Their job is to make shareholders happy and to make the board happy and to keep profits rising. And so like I don't blame them for wanting to do what they're doing. Yeah. It just is also not fair because they're cutting off their nose to spite their face. 100%. Like, they're not going to miss $100 million and to like spread it across the body. Like, no one is going to miss that. No. And if they're going to miss it, they can make it up in other ways. You know what they do miss now is having shows being done in LA. Right. Well, and that was the point. Down. That was the point I was going to make, is that like if they're missing it, then they'll be able to make it up by having better product, by having better things that want to do better numbers, because you've chosen to pay people a wage that they can live on, so they're not strung out. And they can write better things. Help me help you. Help me help you. Like, truly, help us help you. Yes. Baby. If you want us to make money, if you want us to make good stuff, if you want a renaissance, pay me. Of good stuff, pay me. Pay me. Put the dollars on the table. Yes. But yeah, that's our thing. We'll see what happens in 2 days from this standpoint, and we'll see. It'll be 3 weeks later when this comes out. Well, no, I think we should early release this. We just keep doing that. We're gonna have ones that are just gonna be like, it's snowing. It's like July. That's okay. I'm not against it, dude. I'm in. Yeah. So I'm obviously in. I don't care. I'm kind of looking forward to that. Yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to like, wait. Oh my God, it's snowing outside. Wait. It's August. Wait, are they okay? Right, we should always clarify dates while we're talking. Yeah, about maybe these we things. Should. Be like, guys, I don't know when this is getting released, but here we are. Yeah. Well, I think, to be honest, it'll come out when it comes out. If things get cuckoo cray, then sure. But yeah, this is good. This is good. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Put the money on the table. Pay me. Give me the dollars. Give me the dollars.